All right, we're going to try it again. See if this time it works. We'll see. Should go right to a new stream. It's working on Rumble. Okay, we're good on Rumble. And green screen on YouTube, visuals on Rumble. All right, guys. Well, here's what I'm going to do. I am going to have you watch on Rumble. Oh, good Lord. Apparently, YouTube opened a new goddamn stream. Son of a bitch. Okay. So those of you who are joining me on the new place, it should be fine. Here we go. We're live. Let me send you a link. And hopefully you'll be able to find me there. Okay. So, hi, those who made it back, and we're in launch time here, and here we go. Supposedly, so this live launch is not happening. Oh, well, they say it's off. Why is this not happening? Okay, for whatever reason, that launch is not happening either. Are y'all joining me now? Looks like we're good. So, for those who are not in the know, Pescapose is one. So, for some reason, every day, about 20 minutes in the stream, Streamlab glitches out on me, which is Streamlabs OBS, okay? Because I use Streamlabs OBS. And it has nothing to do with dinosaurs, except for this dinosaur, okay? Haven't been able to figure out why. I've contacted Streamlabs. I've updated the program. I've done all sorts of things. And it has nothing I've done has worked. Other than, at least I can restart the stream now, most of the time. Now, today I wasn't able to, so today I just restarted and ended up in a new stream environment here. And I have no idea what to do about it. Other than I may need to upgrade my computer, maybe? I have no idea. So, we missed the liftoff of this rocket, but apparently I'm looking at this live feed, or it was a live feed. Maybe it's not a live feed that you gave me, Gunfox. Or no, it is a live feed. There's just, it doesn't show a liftoff. That's the problem. Let's see. Let's go to here. So we missed the liftoff of the rocket there. So I'm just going to close that window because I'm done. Have you tried admitting it is a Dinosaur Appreciation Month? Well, it is Dinosaur Appreciation Month. You know what I mean? I know that. Hello, Sean. Hello, Nomad. Hello, people who weren't here when we glitched out. But it seems like when I glitch out and then I restart, all of a sudden people who weren't here show up. So maybe I should just do this every day. Oh, wait, I already do it every day. Okay. Should we talk about something else? It is my friends. Oh God, now I got to fix this too. See, whenever that goes out, then I got to fix other shit. Today is World Environment Day. Are you excited? And am I freezing again? Today's World Environment Day. Are you fired up for World Environment Day? Now it's interesting. It's World Environment Day, but pretty much they're only celebrating this in Southeast Asia or like in India, and they're planting trees everywhere because like lots of Indian people are. I think this is India. Lots of people planting trees, and it may be Pakistan, maybe Sri Lanka, maybe somewhere. It's brown people planting trees everywhere. So, I mean, that's cool for World Environment Day. I don't know what that means, and that's all I'm going to say about it. That's all I care about. Okay. Let's see. What else? Oh, also in the news, Amanda Knox. You remember Amanda Knox? So, Amanda Knox is the young woman who was charged with murder in Italy for supposedly killing someone named Meredith Kercher. Okay. And she was acquitted eventually, right? Of committing murder. But now, apparently, she has now been convicted for slander in that 2007 Italian murder case. Amanda Knox, previously cleared of killing Meredith Kercher, convicted for slander in Italy. Despite a 3-year sentence, she won't return to jail after serving 4 years. A shock in the Amanda Knox court case. She's been convicted of slander for implicating another person in the murder of Meredith Kercher. She has not cleared her name as she said she wanted to. This guy's live in Florence. I don't know who this is. Oh, from Good Morning America, maybe? Here, let's listen to this guy.
I'm just outside the courthouse where Amanda Cox has been found guilty of slander. She'd come to Italy to try to clear her name. She hasn't done that. Journalists are now waiting for either her or her lawyers to come out and give a statement. She was here trying to clear her name in what she was hoping going to be the last hurdle in this long battle for justice as she sees it. Now, she had been accused of implicating another person in the murder of Meredith Kercher. She spoke in court. She spoke in Italian, her voice trembling at times, saying that she apologized for whatever she may have done, that she was young, that she was being coerced by police, and that she was in a horrible situation. It was a media frenzy. Many of you will remember 2007, the whole world had a spotlight on this court case. So she spoke in court. I think there was a suggestion, an expectation perhaps, that she would be exonerated and she could finally put all this behind her, but no, that is not the case. A 3-year sentence. She won't serve any of it because she, of course, has already spent time in jail. So we're waiting to hear what her reaction is here today.
So they convicted her of slander. And here's some more information on this. Simon Oteba has written about this also. Amanda Knox, who falsely accused Patrick Lumumba, a Congolese man, of the murder of British exchange student Meredith Kercher in Italy in 2007, has been reconvicted of slander. Lumumba has been kind to her, giving her a part-time job. However, she deliberately lied about him to exonerate herself and later blamed police pressure. The court just convicted her. So that's a little bit different take of it. Falsely accused someone under pressure that here in the U.S. would be considered at a minimum coercion, but could also be considered a form of torture. Italy's legal system is a sham, and the only ones who should be on trial are the officers who coerced her. So anyway, that's an update on that story. There's a lot of people writing opinions about it. I'll drop an AP story in the links if you want to read about it, but I'm not going to go into any more detail than that. But that will be in the links. Also trending right now. I don't need to donate to the AP. Kiss my ass. Sorry. Also in the news, Dr. Phil. Dr. Phil is in the news, or at least in the spotlight, and mainly because Dr. Phil has a message after the Donald Trump conviction in Manhattan. And what's interesting is, Dr. Phil was a big ally of Oprah Winfrey, but now that Dr. Phil's kind of a big name on his own, he can venture off into some pseudo-political stuff that doesn't necessarily agree with Oprah Winfrey. So that's interesting. So here we go. Dr. Phil is calling for the end of the political persecution against Donald Trump and blasts Biden and tells him to dismiss now. So here's Dr. Phil. It's about a 2-minute rant. We'll go through it and listen to it. And it's in, Dr. Phil's kitschy Southern style, because it's Dr. Phil, if you can stand it. So we'll listen to it. Here he is.
I wanted to share my final thought about this. This weaponization of our great institutions, the FBI, Justice Department, and individual states.
Now let's just stop right there. Let's just stop right there, because, and hell yeah, he's free to have his own opinions. He's free now. Let's just listen to the terminology that Dr. Phil uses right off the bat. The weaponization. Uh-oh. That's not going to make Oprah happy. That's not going to make some Democrats happy. But let's just be honest. It's not going to make some Republicans who are thinking of retaliating happy either. Because look, we need to have our justice system back to what it's for, actually going after criminals and not trying to fuck up our opponents. And someone told me the other day, I said, I don't want retaliation for this. I want the Justice Department to do what it's supposed to do. And someone said to me, that's why Republicans always lose. And look, I've been, if anyone knows why Republicans always lose, it's me, because I've known since my first time I registered to vote, I registered as a Republican back in 1984 for that election. And I know I've watched it for all my political adult life. And I know sometimes, but not all are like that. I see Republicans out there now fighting back on some of this shit, which is great. But when we fight back on it, we don't want to go to the extreme of making ourselves as dirty as Democrats. And maybe that is a losing attitude, but in reality, we want the justice system just to be a justice system and not a just us system. You know what I'm saying? So, and unfortunately, both sides seems to want to treat it as a just us system. No, we got to be able to have a country that works, and that ain't good. So anyway, interesting use of choice of words there by Dr. Phil. Let's watch the whole thing.
Similar institutions will lead to one of two outcomes. One is more of the same from the other side, tit for tat. That may seem deserved, but it is not the right way forward for America. The other is what I call on you to demand from your politicians today, an end to this craziness in order to save the soul and sanity of our country.
It would be nice if that could happen. The Pope has
given us the right approach in his new book when he says, we are all brothers and sisters, and there must be no resentment among us. For any war to truly end, forgiveness is necessary. That is true of any war, including our current cultural war. We need our Justice Department to return to the business of meting out justice and not running the political agendas of those currently in power, blindly seeking convictions, warranted or otherwise, and attacking political opponents.
Now, just one part of the phrase I don't agree with there, when he said warranted or otherwise. No, if it's actually warranted corruption, like say Bob Menendez, that is, if it's warranted and not just a political hit job, yes, we need to pursue that. Okay. It's funny how they talk about no one's above the law. No, there's all kinds of people above the law. Bob Menendez has been above the law for a long time, and sometimes he needs to be under the jail. But this whole thing with Trump, that they had to make up, they had to pick up a whole Jenga pile and try to put it together to make it actually be a charge. Yeah, that's messed up.
That requires a very few important things from each of you, from all of us. Finding your voice, forgiveness, and focus on the way forward. Forgive them, for they know not what they do. forgiveness and at the same time requiring better. We are
Okay. Yeah. And that's going to be part of the problem, because it's natural to want to go eye for an eye rather than forgive them, right? And look, the people, and I'm not just talking about the people that are on my side or people on someone else's side or whatever. The people kind of vote for this in some ways, and for whatever reason, look, I said this many times in the past. Anytime one party stretches the boundary, stretches the boundary one way. So let's take, for example, back when the Democrats said that, you don't need to, they're going to force a certain action through by changing rules. Okay. And I said, well, that's great when you're in the majority, when you're in power. Okay. But just remember that using that tactic will come back to bite you in the ass when you're not in power. So one of the things they did was they made it that you cannot filibuster on the appointment of judges. Okay. You couldn't stop appointment of judges by using that, the cloture rules. Right. And great. I told you, Democrats, when you did that and you got some judges put into the U.S. courts at the time, I said, guess what? This is going to come back and bite you in the ass. And what happened when Donald John Trump became president? Well, we had a couple Supreme Court justice nominations that got pushed through because you could not stop them. And so it's your own damn fault that the Republicans used the rule that you stretched out so far that they could use it to their advantage. And so I say this every time. If you are going to take Donald Trump and you're going to come up with all these charges after he was president because he decided to run again, because he had the audacity to win, and maybe twice, you know what I mean? Guess what? This could be used against you too. And I bet there's lots of dirty Democrats. Okay? But, the problem is, the reason Republicans aren't going to be able to do it as easy is because the Democrats had 40 some years of almost complete power to put people into places. And they've been playing the long game with George Soros, getting certain DAs elected and whatnot. But still, it can happen. Yes, the double-edged sword could come right back and cut you right up, split you up the middle. So anyway, I think that's what Dr. Phil's kind of saying here.
We're not some banana republic, for God's sakes. What are we going to do next? Have a Putin poisoning posse?
Don't give them any ideas. I heard that. No, it's funny. I heard this morning because they did this on the Steel Toe Morning Show, which is Aaron Imhoff. It's just, well, that, if you don't know who that is what would I say? Urquita's. Anyway, they were all part of that story, but he said that too. He said, what was the word line here? Oh,
what are we going to do next? Have a Putin poisoning posse?
Again, that's, as you say, don't give them any ideas, because these people are losing their minds. They're losing their minds, and you don't give anyone any ideas. We don't want, because I wouldn't put it past the Biden administration to pull some really dirty shit. Like all of a sudden your opponent comes up sick and in a bed in a hospital in Bethesda, ending, so to speak.
And start finding political opponents foaming at the mouth at home, not so mysteriously dying in their lazy boy recliners? We're better than that. We must be better than that. I don't like what I see happening in our country. This kind of thing is exactly why I launched Merritt Street Media and wrote, We've Got Issues.
We got issues, all right. Good morning, real-time fat man. Did you really Did you see the really snidey grin that Biden gave when he was asked if he had anything to do with Trump feeling like a political prisoner? Yes, I did. And that was, he went almost snidely whiplash snidey. It was crazy. Anyway, back to Dr. Phil here. Now, did he need to hawk his book during this speech?
The weaponization of our justice system, agencies and powerful government actions that frankly just make my skin crawl for all of us and for my grandchildren. And let's be honest, this is so not just about Trump. If you let your hatred for Donald Trump compromise your ability to find true north on your moral compass, shame on you.
This brings me to a certain Harvard law professor on X who used to be all about the civil rights of defendants. And now, but because of his hatred for Trump, he can find no fault in this fiasco of a trial in Manhattan. Now I'm talking about Lawrence Tribe, if you're not sure who I'm talking about, who's just literally become a partisan, just a partisan hack. Because I was watching a clip on Fox and Friends that was on. I don't watch Fox News. No, I don't. But there was a clip. Or was it Fox? No, I think it might have been. Could have been Pierce Brooks. Anyway, it was a Democratic lawyer who was part of the Clinton administration. In fact, he also was Clinton's lawyer not Clinton's lawyer. He was might have been McDougal's lawyer back in the cattle thing, trials back in the day. And even he was saying that this is a case that never should have been put together. They pieced some shit together that should have never been put together. And, and a total partisan Democratic Clinton ally hack on everything else, saying that this Trump conviction was ridiculous. It's going to be overturned. They got and it was used for political purposes. And so when I see a Harvard law professor, Lawrence Tribe, not saying the same thing because he's happy with the verdict and actually defending that, these are 12 peers of a juror of 12 Donald Trump peers who beyond a reasonable doubt said this was 34 felonies when they hacked together two misdemeanors to create a felony, is really just insane. It's really just insane that you cannot get past your partisan, green colored lenses to realize that you're just completely subverting what the justice system is supposed to be. It's really embarrassing. But anyway, hello, Real Wade Nation, or Real Wade Nation Gaming. Clips. Oh, there's even more to your name now. Every time I see your name, it gets longer. What's the hell? All right.
If you let your disgust for Biden make you blind to the inevitable consequences of pursuing revenge, then God help the children who will inherit the dystopian nightmare we create.
Now, quick question, because everyone knows, and I was going to talk about Hunter Biden. I still get into that Hunter Biden trial, because there's one thing out of the Hunter Biden trial so far that created the name of this stream. So we'll get to that in a minute. But do you think that the Hunter Biden trial going on now, do you think that is mostly retaliation for going and getting Trump? Because I know. I think what it is, because again, they found the friendliest venue they could for this in Delaware. But I think they're playing a game to make it look like they are really doing something, because they tried to give him that sweet little plea deal, right? And he rejected that, which to the amazement of everyone on the planet. And then the judge said, no, this ain't happening. But do you think that this is tit for tat, or do you think the Hunter Biden trial is legit? Just curious. Just curious. Anyway, let's keep going.
We need leaders who will pledge to end this vicious cycle right now and return us to that safe place where our institutions are no longer bastardized and weaponized, but rather simply serve their intended purpose.
Yep.
We have serious problems to solve, and it will take serious people to solve them.
There are no serious
Men and
people
women
left.
who-
There are no serious people left. I mean, there's a few. Maybe you'd like Rand Paul. I think he's fairly serious. I really do. Unfortunately, he's a Republican, so no Democrat wants to take him seriously, even when he's right. Especially on all the stuff about Fauci. Fauci's trending, by the way, still, because he's a lying piece of shit. Hunter's subpoena predated Trump indictment. Oh yeah, no, he got let off because of the way the system is. Yeah, no, he's skated because of the way the system is. So good. I'm glad. I don't see it. It's some long overdue. Why did they drag this out? You know. Oh, by the way, well, no, I can't go into that yet. I'll come into it later. Hang on.
Who we hold accountable for doing that which they were selected or hired to do. They need to know we are watching, and their positions are privileges, not legacies.
Okay, I'm going to leave it at that. There's a few more minutes, a couple more minutes of this, but I'll have a separate link with just that soliloquy from Dr. Phil. But I'm glad that he's actually speaking out on it. And if you've noticed, as of late, he seems to have, I wouldn't say become a supporter of another side of the spectrum, of the political spectrum, but he certainly speaks as though he has some fairly conservative bona fides. And it's interesting to see, especially now that he's completely, basically no longer a disciple or whatever of Oprah Winfrey. By the way, good morning, Select Boy. Good morning, Willie. How you doing? Good morning, and real-time Fat Man. So, all right, back to some other trends, and then we'll get to the main topic. I'll try to go through these fast now. WNBA's trending again, or still, and that's actually, you know what? I'm actually surprised that people are still talking about it, but maybe I think this may be done on purpose. If they're talking about you, maybe some people will be curious enough to go to some games. Donkey Punch Bandit's in the house. What's up? But the main thing, the latest is because of something Pat McAfee said on his show. Pat McAfee was hired. I don't know where he was hired from. The former kicker for the Indianapolis Colts, and he's quite the colorful sports announcer, prognosticator, and whatnot. And Pat McAfee, the other day, people got mad because Pat McAfee referred to, why is that screen white? Pat McAfee referred to Caitlin Clark as that white bitch. Now, some people lost their minds thinking that he was, because all I saw when I was reading about this, and I'm like, oh, geez, someone called her a white bitch. And I was thinking, oh, was that someone called her that in an WNBA locker room like some of the other players? Because I'm sure that phrase is bandied about quite a bit in WNBA locker rooms, okay? But no, that's not, no, it was a sportscaster named Pat McAfee, and I'm going to show you the clip here. Well, where the hell is it? Lots of people are complaining about, Caitlin Clark getting pushed around and whatnot. But where the hell is it? Where the hell is it? Oh, shoot. I accidentally... Oh, here we go. Here we go. This is the one I wanted to put up here. Oh, that's why it's over here. I just had it in the wrong spot. So here's Pat McAfee from a few days ago talking about all this controversy in the WNBA. And I want to ask you, after we watch the whole clip, because not just the words white bitch... And if you were ever around me and my friends, particularly my college friends, you would know that our favorite word is bitch, and it has nothing to do with women or females or dogs or anything. We just called each other bitch all the time. Okay. And also one of the things that we'd yell out in the public a lot of times is one person would yell sweet and everyone else would reply bitch. Okay. So it has nothing to do with women, or we would never be talking about it in particular. Just that was a phrase that we used a lot. So that's my full disclosure. I use the word quite often in my own personal life. And generally, when I say bitch, I'm usually talking about a male. So don't be a bitch. But anyway, here, I want you to listen to this entire clip and tell me in the chat whether you believe that Pat McAfee was using this term disparagingly towards Caitlin Clark, or if he was trying to make a racial statement when he said this, or otherwise. Okay, so here's the whole damn thing. Here's the whole thing.
The GOAT. Is she what? I don't know. With my eyes, I couldn't see if she's Caucasian or not. So I think what we're trying to say is what the WNBA currently has is what we like to describe as a cash cow. There is a superstar.
Caitlin Clark.
And we're not saying that the players on the court need to act any differently. That's the athletes are going to do what athletes are going to do in any sport. And I think we're all learning that WNBA, that's old school football, baby. That is old school football. But I would like the media people that continue to say, this rookie class, this rookie class, this rookie class. Nah, just call it for what it is. There's one white bitch for the Indiana team who is a superstar. And is it because she stayed in Iowa, put an entire state on her back, took a program from nothing to a multiple-year success story? Is it because she would go on to break the entire points records in the history of the NCAA? Not just the women's record by Kelsey Plum, shout out, but also Pistol Pete Maravich's, the dude's record as well. Is there a chance that people just enjoy watching her play basketball because how electrifying she is, what she did, what she stood for, how she went about going, what she went for? Maybe. But instead, we have to hear people say that we only like her because she's white. And she's the only popular because the rest of the rookie class is doing what they're doing. Well, that's a bunch of bullshit. And we think the WNBA, more specifically, their refs need to stop trying to screw her over at every single turn. What you have is somebody special. And we're lucky she's here in Indiana.
Okay, now, was he trying to insult her by calling her a white bitch? To me, this is just guys talking about sports in the basement in front of a big screen during the middle of a football game. No, Woodcutter, we know she didn't break the men's record. It's just hype. I hate that when they say that too. No, she did not break the men's record because she's not playing the same sport. Okay, women's basketball is not the same sport as men's basketball. You're not playing under the same condition, blah, blah, blah. Got that. But you know what I mean? The scoring record, they want to make a big hype about her. Scoring more points than Pistol Pete Maravich. Yeah, no. Anyway. No, he's just saying that if he'd have said that some white chick, the white chick, okay, no one would have said anything. He was mocking them. In a way, he was. Now, think about this. Because in some circles in the WNBA, I bet you the term that white bitch has probably come up more than once. And in fact, the resentment that she's getting for the shoe deal, and because Aja What's-Her-Face didn't get one, and blah, 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 and she's getting all this attention. There's a few of them WNBA players who are referring to her as that white bitch. And you know what's funny? I keep saying this. Caitlin Clark's the only one not complaining about the treatment she's getting. She's like, it's just part of the game. It's a rough game, blah, 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 blah. So anyway, but Pat McAfee was getting killed for this. Someone said only a white man could do what he just did. No, Pat McAfee has been taking lots of criticism for using the phrase "that white bitch" or a white bitch. Okay, he was just saying this woman, this white chick, this girl, this thing that they keep, they probably calling her in the locker rooms, is the only reason people are the WNBA is getting extra attention. Now, Pat McAfee has made a terrible mistake here. He's made an awful mistake. I wish I had the clip, but now he's apologizing. And I don't think he should have apologized. Okay. At worst, just for maybe using the word, but nothing else. Because the outrage that people are pushing at him is all this is going to do is fuel their further scrutinizing of everything he says now, because he's supporting Caitlin Clark. He wrote on X, "I shouldn't have used, quote, white bitch, end quote, as a descriptor of Caitlin Clark, no matter the context. Even if we're talking about race being a reason for some of the stuff happening, I have way too much respect for her and the woman that put into that universe. My intentions when saying it were complimentary, just like the entire segment. But a lot of folks are saying that it certainly wasn't at all. That's 100% on me, and for that I apologize. I've sent an apology to Caitlin as well. Everything else I said, still all facts." So at least he says, I didn't say anything wrong. And I'm referring to her as how many of you who are probably criticizing me right now, I've probably had those words come out of your mouth. And honestly, don't apologize. Say, look, I said what I said. I was complimentary to her, and y'all need to chill. So anyway, I don't apologize for that shit. If you listen to the whole segment in context, you know he was not saying anything negative about Caitlin Clark. And by the way, he on a show, I don't have the clip, but on a show he said, he actually talked to Caitlin Clark, and Caitlin Clark basically said, "It's all good, I don't care," and that's what I'm beginning to appreciate Caitlin Clark a little more, because she just don't care. She's just gonna do her thing and play the game, and hopefully, continue to improve and fit in the WNBA, except for the lesbian part. You know what I mean? Anyway, sorry. Moving on, Dr. Fauci's also trending because Dr. Fauci was testifying before Congress and lied his ass off multiple times. I'm not going to talk about Dr. Fauci today. Everyone knows he's a lying piece of shit who can't keep his story straight, claims he didn't fund gain-of-function research, but then said they did they funded research where they were doing functions, doing experiments on diseases that don't exist and seeing if they can make the diseases worse, but we don't call that gain of function research anymore. We call it feign of gumption research. So we don't do it anymore. And then he back and forth talking about how he never called for lockdowns when there's videos of him calling for lockdown. The whole damn thing is crazy. I'm just going to leave this up because we talked a little bit about it yesterday. Lots of people saying prosecute Fauci. There's some great clips on this, but again, I'm done. I can't. You probably heard them all, and I don't want to talk about this today because I have limited time. COVID is also trending because of Dr. Fauci, and we learned a lot of bullshit about that and so on and so forth. All right. The only thing I really wanted to talk about today was the name of the title of the show. And I don't even remember the name of the title. What is it? It's official. The FBI interfered in the 2020 election. Now, as you know, the Hunter Biden trial's going on. And let me find this clip. I'm just going to scroll. Look, I'm going to, for a day. Oh no, don't lock up on me. Okay, good. As for articles, I'm going to put a link to the morning report by J.J. Sefton on Ace of Spades, because I'm not going to even have other articles out. During the Hunter Biden trial, was it yesterday or was it Monday? A witness for the FBI said something very, very interesting. And we're going to highlight that here because it tells me, and look, we learned some new, well, wait, let me back up. We learned some new rules. Remember we said that the Democrats making up new rules can always come back and bite them in the ass. And during the Donald Trump Manhattan business records trial, we found out that there were some rules, there's some new rules that by not allowing some negative information to come out about you or your family or whatever, that is election interference, which in Donald Trump's case, because he supposedly falsified some business records or misclassified some stuff, which they called falsifying business record, could be considered a felony. Okay? So if you don't allow the media or whatever to disclose negative information about you or something that could damage you in the election, that is felonious election interference. Now, if you remember back during the 2020, prior to the election, there was a big story. Big story in the New York Post. Big story in the New York Post about a certain electronic device known as a laptop. Some call it the laptop from hell, right? Wait, what are we doing now? Skipping pretty well. A certain laptop. They call it, some refer to it as the laptop from hell. And this was, what, a month before the election? Was it even a month before the election? Where, and by the way, the laptop, the electronic device, was something that belonged to someone named Hunter Biden. Now, Hunter Biden, obscure person, I don't know. You just got stuck on a felony like 4 times. I don't know what that means. Oh, did I say it over and over? I don't know. That laptop belonged to Hunter Biden. And there was some interesting material on that laptop. Now, the reason they had this laptop is because Hunter Biden, probably in a coked out situation where he just, for whatever needed the laptop repaired, dropped it off at the laptop repair place and forgot about it. And it was there for more than 90 days. And he signed a little contract that said, if this is here for more than 90 days, everything, this laptop and everything on it belongs to us. All your laptop belonged to us, right? Wow, I dug that up out of my ass. Ooh, that doesn't even sound right. Anyway, all your laptop belonged to us. So then the guy who had the laptop, somehow the FBI got a hold of some of the materials on it because he said, oh, here's some stuff on here that you might want to know about. And that all that material went to the FBI, right? And the FBI, and this was in by the way, this happened in 2019 that the FBI was getting this information. Well, during this Hunter Biden trial, one of the witnesses from the FBI said that they knew that the information on the laptop and the laptop itself, they knew for a fact that it did belong to Hunter Biden and that everything about it was real. And in fact, well, let's look at Clay Travis here, who tweeted this. Did I just freeze? Nope, I didn't. Okay, we're good. Right here in the courtroom report, and this is Miranda Devine. It's official. The Hunter Biden's laptop is Government Exhibit 16 at the First Sons gun trial in Delaware. The silver MacBook Pro, covered in a plastic wrapper, was first publicly cited today at 2:10 p.m. when it was carried across the court by prosecutor Derek Hines to his first witness, FBI agent Erica Jensen, who confirmed it was Hunter's laptop from the serial number on the back that corresponds to his iCloud identity. She said the laptop was obtained by the FBI with a subpoena from the Mac shop in Wilmington where it had been abandoned by Hunter. She said that investigators corroborated content on the laptop with content in Hunter's iCloud that they obtained from Apple with a subpoena. Hines then proceeded to go through WhatsApp and text messages and images and documents from the laptop and iCloud with Jensen to make his case that Hunter was using drugs before, during, and after the period that he bought the possessed handgun, after allegedly signing a background check form in October 2018 saying he was not a drug user. His then lover, Hallie Biden, later threw the gun in the trash. The jury kept unsmiling focus throughout the evidence, which showed that Hunter spending $50,000 a month at ATM withdrawals during that period and organizing alleged purchases of crack cocaine. Hunter disembodied voice filled the courtroom periodically as prosecutors played audiobook extracts from his memoir, and he remained impassive behind a pair of salmon pink reading glasses. Hallie will be a witness by the end of this week or next week after Hunter's ex-wife Kathleen Booley and ex-lover Zoe Keston. It is 3 years and 8 months since the New York Post broke the story of the laptop from hell that was censored by Big Tech. A few days later, in October 2020, the Dirty 51 ex-intelligence officials, mostly CIA, lied that it was Russian disinformation, and that then presidential candidate Joe Biden lied that it was a Russian plant. Now, the FBI... Remember, this is October 2020 that this supposed laptop was being labeled Russian disinformation by the ex-intelligence officials and presidential candidate and father of Hunter Biden, Joseph Rahim Biden. Now, as we learned in the Trump Manhattan business records trial, if you suppress bad information about you, what is it, gang? I said it many times. Advocatus Diablo will tell you. It's election interference. So the FBI knew in 2019, as per testimony in this trial by Erica Jensen, the FBI agent, that they knew in 2019 that this laptop was real. The information on it was real. The information was Hunter Biden's. It was actually Hunter Biden's laptop. And yet, in October 2020, when the New York Post came out with a story, the United States government pressured Twitter and other social media companies to suppress the story, claiming that it could be Russian disinformation. So apparently, the FBI, by not confirming that this was not Russian disinformation, again, remember, you don't have to be asked. You should disclose information. Otherwise, it's election interference. And we know from polls that people said when they heard about this, if they would have known about this information, it could have affected the election. And even Joseph Rahim Biden lied about it to the American people as he's running for president. It's amazing. Now it's curious. What about these 51 jokers? Well, this isn't 51 of them, but there's a bunch of them. 51 former intelligence people signed as experts. They were supposedly experts on intelligence, saying this was Russian disinformation. I'd rather those former intelligence officials with their national security clearances were on trial rather than Hunter. I'd rather the media, big tech, and everyone else involved in election interference, including the deep state, were on trial rather than Hunter. Yes, I agree. It's amazing. It's amazing that they've gotten away with this. Now, let's see. Did Miranda, I know she had an article on this. Let me see if I can find that real quick. I've had it available. Maybe it's an ace. I saw that. So here we go. Oh, here it is. Miranda Devine. So let's read Miranda Devine's editorial, and then we'll finish with this. And there's several articles on this in the ACE links today, but let's go with Miranda Devine's article here in the New York Post. Now, granted, this is an opinion piece, but I'm pretty sure that it's very telling. This is from yesterday evening. It's official. Hunter Biden's laptop from hell is government exhibit 16, the first son's gun trial in Delaware. Oh, this is the same as the beginning of the Post. So when the Post broke the story before the 2020 election in October 2020, publishing evidence from the laptop of Joe Biden's involvement in his family's global influence peddling racket, we were censored by big tech and falsely accused by 51 former intelligence officials of peddling Russian disinformation. Then presidential candidate Joe Biden lied to the American people that the laptop was a Russian plant, but the FBI knew otherwise. Now, if you were not a reader of this newspaper, the New York Post, and simply believed the Biden lies, Tuesday's courtroom revelations would have come as a bolt from the blue. Hines told the jury that when Hunter bought a gun after ticking a box on a federal background form saying that he was not a drug user, he chose to illegally own a firearm and chose to lie. Nobody is allowed to lie, not even Hunter Biden, because what? My own aside. No one is above the law if you ask any Democrat. Unless they are a Democrat. Then Hines led Agent Jensen through messages and images from the laptop of a half-naked Hunter with drug paraphernalia to make his case that Hunter was using drugs in the period before, during, and after October 12th, 2018, the day he drove his father's Cadillac to a local gun store and bought a handgun. The jury kept intense, unsmiling focus throughout the evidence that showed Hunter spending $50,000 a month in ATM withdrawals while organizing alleged purchases of crack cocaine. He had a $50,000 a month cocaine habit? Holy shit. Hunter's disembodied voice filled the courtroom because she already wrote this. Is this the whole... Okay, wait. I'm going to skip down to what you haven't heard yet. Okay, so Hallie Biden, Hunter's former lover, the widow of his brother, Beau. That's another weird thing. Your brother dies, and you go start hitting on his wife, and not only just start hitting on his wife, but then you start with his wife. You know what I'm talking about. Oh, yeah. You know what they got some sexy time. Hunter's former lover, the widow of brother Beau, who threw his new gun in the trash can outside a nearby gourmet market, will be prosecution's fourth witness after Hunter's ex-wife Kathleen Bewley and his ex-lover Zoe Keston. Hunter, quote, introduced Hallie to crack, end quote. Well, I bet she introduced him to some crack too. I'm so childish, said Hines, but before she threw his gun out, she had been clean for 2 months and remains clean to this day. She will testify under grant of immunity to avoid potentially incriminating herself. So she don't need the Fifth Amendment. But in a sign that Hunter's plans to throw Hallie under the bus, his lawyer, Abby Lowell, highlighted her grant of immunity to the jury as a reason to treat her testimony with caution. He portrayed Hallie as responsible in her handling of the gun, or as Hunter told her in text messages from his laptop, quote, totally irresponsible and unhinged. Yeah, your crack use is just completely responsible, though. Hunter put the gun in a locked box in his truck, said Lowell. Well, he shouldn't have had it at all, right? How does that change whether or not he should have a gun when he's a crack addict? I don't know. Now, I personally, by the way, what's up, Armin Tamzarian? How you doing? Armin Tamzarian, what's up? Now, look, and I'm you know me, I'm skeptical of gun laws anyway. But it is the current law, and no one's above the law. So, quote, but Hallie took it on herself to take the gun and the bullets, put it in the bag, and decided to drive her car with the bag to Jansen's Market. And then she took the bag and put it in the trash right in front of the store and left. Okay, that doesn't change what he's charged with. The insular Biden dynasty being on the outside is a hostile place. So they're going to go after. They're going to try to. Oh, by the way, I've been reading stuff about this trial, and apparently, this is funny. And I'm going to end with this. Two things that are funny. Where Hunter tried to blame somebody else for his actions. When they were talking about the purchase of the weapon, right? They said the Abby Lowell, and they tried to put this part out. Abby Lowell, the attorney for Hunter Biden, said that, well, Hunter went into the store and he really wasn't looking to buy a gun, but the salesman there was really gung-ho about selling guns, and he really just coerced him into buying this weapon, and just, it was his fault. It was so tempting because this guy made such a great sales pitch that Hunter just had to buy the gun. Did Hunter have to lie about the crack cocaine habit? Okay. And then also the other part too is they're trying to make it as though Hallie Biden, Hunter Biden's brother's wife, Hunter Biden's brother's wife, coerced him into smoking crack. That somehow it was Hallie Biden's fault that Hunter Biden was still smoking crack. Now, wait a minute. He wrote in his damn book about being addicted to crack cocaine and other substances. And in fact, even when he was in rehab, he snuck out and was drinking and smoking crack during his rehab. And he'd been in and out of rehab multiple times. He'd never lasted out of rehab more than a couple of months. You know what I really want to know about, though? I want to know about the cocaine in the White House. That's the one I want to know. I'm going to open several articles too for the links today. Just about this particular story. No one's above the law unless you're a Democrat. Wait, that's that one. But because there are some good articles here. In fact, here I'll show you what we got. I'm not going to go through any of them today, but that's the New York Post article. Biden laptop from hell serving as evidence in his trials, pure poetic justice, especially for the New York Post. Also, the New York Post. Oh, by the way, this is not what I was supposed to do, but Biden 81 showing signs of decline as politicians and aides detail use of cheat sheets, closing eyes for extended period of time. Not the same person. Closing eyes? You mean when he sleeps through shit? Like he slept through part of the commencement at the Air Force Academy? But anyway, that's not one of the articles I meant to do. I meant to have this one. Prosecutor Hallie Biden's going to testify about embarrassing use of crack with Hunter Biden. That's in Breitbart. In the Federalist, here's everything you need to know about Hunter Biden's criminal gun trial. If you want to read up on that, there's a whole bunch of details there. Also, we have the article from Front Page. No one is above the law unless you're a Democrat, which we say it quite often. And the other related story is in the Washington Free Beacon. Hunter Biden employs the Bill Clinton defense in the first day of criminal trial. Abby Lowell argues that all depends on what your definition of is. Let's just do this quick. Hunter Biden's attorney took a page out of former President Bill Clinton's playbook on Monday, telling jurors that his client's case hinges on what the definition of the word is. This sounds familiar. The troubled first son is accused of falsely answering a Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms in explosive form when he purchased a handgun from Delaware gun store. And by the way, when they said that he got coerced into buying a gun because he wasn't out to go buy a gun. I think he's going to go buy some cigarettes and some Funyuns. But the gun dealer coerced him into buying guns. Only problem is he was in a fucking gun store. So when you go into a gun store, usually the salesman's going to try to show you some guns. And that's what he ended up buying in the gun store. I don't even know if they had Funyuns in the gun store. It's certainly not. Oh, no, a Red Bull. He wanted the Red Bull and some Funyuns. And he ended up buying a gun instead. But anyway, again, but here's Hunter Biden's year-long drug use is well documented, both through the contents of his abandoned laptop and his admission in his memoir that he was smoking crack every 15 minutes in the same year he purchased a gun. But Hunter Biden's attorney, Abby Lowell, is arguing that Hunter Biden did not lie when he checked a box indicating he was not a drug user or addict, since he did not believe he was at the time he bought the gun. It does not say, have you ever been? It does not say, have you ever used? Lowell said, referencing the form. He did not buy that gun knowing that he fit into a category of people who could not do so. So again, it's the Clinton, what the definition of is. Anyway. All right, that's it. I got to go. Maybe one of these days I'll do a show where I actually stay on the same channel or same stream that I started, but who knows? I may never get this fixed and we just may be going through this every day. But thanks all of you who showed up again on a different place, and that's amazing. So thank you. I hope you have a wonderful day. I got to go. That's it. My name's P-Dog Knight, and I'm out of here. Bye-bye. Hey, this is P-Dog Knight, and thank you for watching today on the P-Dog Knight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cash App, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm P-Dog Knight, and I'm out of here.